Hello everybody and welcome back to another Oscar prediction video where today I will be taking a look at the category of Best Supporting Actor. So, we are really coming down to the wire here. The Oscars are on Sunday and I still have three acting categories to predict. It's really crazy that the acting categories are so up in the air this year. When we get to lead actor and supporting actress, those are both really, really crazy. Supporting actor is one where I think I know what's happening, but I don't know for sure. And it was a wild roller coaster ride to get to where we are now. All five of the names that are nominated here tonight were floated around at some point as a potential winner in this category. So it's it's really crazy. Let's just take a moment to reflect on how we got here. And funnily enough, I think going through the five nominees in the order of likelihood of winning actually paints a really good picture of the timeline of this category's history. So, without further ado, fifth most likely to win is Benicio del Toro for One Battle After Another. So, Benicio del Toro, former Oscar winner for Traffic, nominated for his performance as a sensei in One Battle After Another. A good performance, strong performance, not necessarily the showiest supporting actor performance in the film, which is why when the movie came out, I think a lot of the general response was, oh, Del Toro's good, maybe he could get nominated, depends on how much they love the movie, but he's not really going to contend to win because there's a much showier supporting performance in the film. And then everybody was completely blindsided when the critics' precursors started and Benicio del Toro was winning the vast majority of awards. Like, I couldn't believe what was happening. This performance is gonna sweep the Oscar race for supporting actor. I mean, again, it's not a bad performance and it's not a bad nomination, but it does feel so weird that this performance would be singled out, especially since Del Toro already had an Oscar. Now, ever since the actual televised awards started, Del Toro has not won any of those. And I do kind of have to think that the reason why Del Toro got such a big push from the critics' precursors is because they really wanted him to get the nomination. And now that that's happened, they don't need to push him any further. It's a weird strategy. I still don't know entirely why he got such a big push from the critics. But at any rate, I don't think he's going to go all the way to win this at all. I mean, the fact that we were all so confused by his presence in the Critics Awards, I don't think any of us were necessarily like, oh, this makes sense. Like, we all were just really, really weirded out by it. And again, Del Toro is not bad in the film, but it would be kind of a confusing win. I mean, he is a very likable character. He is a very well-respected actor, and you could argue that by supporting the character is supporting Mexican culture and supporting what's happening in our country and all that stuff. But yeah, he hasn't won any of the major precursors, and I do feel like the nomination really is the win in this case. The fact that I have him ranked fifth, despite the fact that he won so many critics awards, is not because his performance is weak. It's because the other four performances are stronger. And that really goes to show what an abundance of riches we have in this category. So yeah, good performance. Crazy how he won so many precursors from the critics, but he's not going to win. Fourth most likely to win is Jacob Elordi for Frankenstein. So, coming off the heels of Del Toro winning so many critics' precursors, we got to the first major televised precursor, which was Critics' Choice, and a lot of us were wondering if it was going to be Del Toro, and to everybody's shock, it was Jacob Elordi. This was a performance that kind of came out of nowhere, and in the aftermath of the Critics' Choice win, I heard a lot of critics saying, I mean, I never thought he was going to win, but I did vote for him. And I did start to wonder for a little while if this win was going to be possible, because Jacob Elordi is really, really good in this movie. I know I've criticized the film quite a bit, but Elordi is probably the best thing in it. And it's kind of shocking to see an actor so young who up until this point had not done the most serious of dramatic roles. He was in Saltburn, he was in Priscilla, but this is such a big step up for him. and it's crazy to imagine where he's going to go with his career after this. But here's the thing, I never fully bought the idea of Elordi winning for this performance, namely because he is so young. He's so new on the scene. It really wasn't that long ago that he was playing the lead in the Kissing Booth franchise, and now he's potentially going to win an Oscar. It just seems like for men, they don't like to give it to you when you're young. They like to make you wait a little while. Just ask Chalamet and DiCaprio. Although, to be fair to Elordi, he doesn't seem to have the same ego problem that Chalamet does, which might potentially give him a leg up in the race. And he is playing Frankenstein's creature, like such an iconic character, and he's playing it so well. Part of me wonders if he could get a sizable amount of votes. I think the fact that the film is likely winning Best Makeup and the makeup is attributed to his performance. Again, the fact that I have him ranked 4th is mostly due to the strength of the competition. If he had won SAG, I would be seriously considering him, but he didn't, and I do think that Elordi is just a fun critics thing. You can argue that Critics' Choice win is more, just like with Del Toro, it's just a push to make sure he gets the nomination. And so, really strong performance, but I feel like Elordi is so young in his career and has such a giant career ahead of him. It would be really weird to see him win for this, as good as he is in the movie. Third most likely to win is Stellan Skarsgård for Sentimental Value. So, this is interesting because this is a performance that when I saw the movie, my first thought was, wow, that's so obviously a co-lead. My second thought is he's probably winning the Oscar for that. It's not the showiest acting in the world. It is a little bit more subtle, a little bit reserved, but Skarsgård has been such a reliable actor in the industry for so long. This is his first nomination, and early on he was winning a decent amount of critics' precursors, not more than Del Toro, but he was constantly in the race as someone who had a real narrative behind him. He's an actor who has gone unrewarded this far in his career, and this is a really great opportunity to reward him. And while he has gotten his first nomination, and he did win one main precursor, which is the Golden Globe, when that happened, I was like, okay, so BAFTA's next, right? But he didn't win BAFTA. Sentimental Value was shut out of SAG, which was really confusing, but I thought surely BAFTA would go for him, and they did not. And the fact that he lost BAFTA when they should be the guild that is most likely to award a performance like this kind of killed his chances. So one of the things that I did this past week was I made a giant chart of actors who have won with different combinations of different precursors, and only one person has ever won an acting Oscar with a lone Golden Globe win, and that was George Clooney for Syriana, so basically 20 years ago. Skarsgård is good in the film, and he has a narrative behind him, and it would make a certain amount of sense, but I do feel like the enthusiasm for Sentimental Value has waned so much since it came out at Cannes, and I'll get to that more when I talk about International Feature, but I just feel like Skarsgård does not have the momentum that he once had, and it's hard to predict someone when they don't have SAG and when they don't have BAFTA, and so I am ultimately going to say that Skarsgård is in third place, though if he did win, it would be really cool. Second most likely to win is Delroy Lindo for Sinners. Now, the fact that I have Lindo in second place is kind of insane when you think about it, because Delroy Lindo did not win any of the 4 major precursors. In fact, Delroy Lindo was not nominated at any of the 4 main precursors. So why would I ever have him second place? Well, hear me out. When the precursors were initially happening, and at first Del Toro was winning stuff, and then Elordi won Critics' Choice, and then Skarsgård won Globe, it seemed like we were going to have a different winner in every ceremony. And for a moment, a lot of people started to make a comparison between this year and the Best Supporting Actress race of 2000, when Marcia Gay Harden came up from behind and won in a total surprise victory because she had not been nominated at any of the major precursors. But all of those precursors gave the win to a different person, so there was no clear consensus, and somehow Harden managed to surprise everybody and win. Now, it does feel weird to make a direct comparison between what's happening now and this very unique situation that happened 25 years ago. But Delroy Lindo arguably is in a stronger position than Marcia Gay Harden was. Not only is Lindo in a Best Picture nominee, one of the top 2 biggest movies of the year, most nominated movie of all time, I feel the need to mention that yet again, but Lindo is a beloved person. He is a veteran of the acting world. He has given great performances, has not been nominated prior to this, really should have been nominated for The Five Bloods a few years back, but Lindo is really, really loved, and he plays a really lovable character in the film. A lot of people have highlighted that performance as the best part of the ensemble, and here's the kicker. Every time Sinners wins an ensemble prize, Delroy Lindo is always the person who gives the speech. And we saw that most notably at SAG. Lindo gave a very, very compelling speech representing the cast of the movie. And it is really interesting that they keep choosing Lindo to be the person who speaks on behalf of the entire cast. And I wonder. This is a movie that is doing really, really well, could have an extraordinary night. And the fact that the other 2 nominated performances in this movie from Michael B. Jordan and Wunmi Mosaku are both in the winning conversation, it kind of feels like Lindo should be in the winning conversation too. And it's kind of crazy when you think about it, because this movie is in the winning conversation for all 3 performances. Is there a world where all 3 win? I don't know, but I feel like that's not outside the realm of possibility. At the same time, though, I think we all recognize that this is a crazy thing to predict. We all recognize that Lindo is number 2. No one is bold enough to actually pull the trigger. No one's bold enough to actually predict him. And I could. There's reasons, but at the end of the day, I have to do with what is the most logical. And the person who it makes the most logical sense for me to predict, number 1 most likely to win, is Sean Penn, One Battle After Another. So, back when I saw One Battle After Another in theaters, I'm like, okay, Sean Penn's coming for that 3rd Oscar, it looks like. He's very, very, very strong in this movie, very, very showy. It's the kind of villainous role that it's been a while since Oscars have given it to someone like this, like J.K. Simmons in Whiplash. Villains don't win now as often as they used to, and yet Sean Penn is so showy, is such a huge part of that film. It did make a certain amount of sense that he was just going to steamroll his way to an Oscar. And Oscar voters have shown they don't really care so much about people winning multiple Oscars. We saw that with Frances McDormand, with Adrian Brody, with Emma Stone. Actually, Brody might be the best comparison because this role is arguably the best role Sean Penn has had in a really, really long time, and it could be seen as something of a comeback narrative for him. So for all of those reasons, most people did pencil in Sean Penn as most likely to win when this movie came out. And then the whole thing happened with Del Toro taking all of those Critics Awards, and then Elordi took Critics' Choice, and then Skarsgård took Globe, and it feels like we went on this crazy, wild roller coaster ride and ended up exactly where we started, because Sean Penn took BAFTA and then he took SAG. And it's unwise to go against the person who won both BAFTA and SAG. Now, I do think what hurts him is A, the fact that he's playing a really unlikable villain character who so often don't win, but B, the fact that Sean Penn did not attend either BAFTA or SAG. He did not give a speech, and he's barely been campaigning at all. Sean Penn is not exactly the most liked guy in Hollywood, and I do think the fact that he is so transparent about the fact that he does not care if he wins an Oscar for this performance. And If Penn clearly doesn't care about winning a third Oscar, then why not give it to someone who would care about winning their first, like Lindo, for example? But if you're going to predict Lindo, it has to be based on vibes only, because there's not really enough solid stats to back it up. Penn is giving a very, very showy performance in a movie that is so loved, a movie that I think has to win at least one acting award. And it just makes sense given the quality of the performance and given the fact that he won SAG and BAFTA. I do think Lindo is number 2, but it is crazy that I think Lindo is number 2, because that's just a vibes thing. I don't think Skarsgård can do it. I don't think Elordi can do it. I don't think Del Toro can do it. It's either Penn or it's Lindo, and all stats point towards Penn, even though I'm sure Penn does not care if he wins this Oscar. I do think he is going to win. So thank you very much for watching. I apologize for the drowsiness in my voice. It's very, very late when I'm recording this, but I will see you next time when I will be taking a look at the category of Best Supporting Actress. See you then.